I mean, it's pretty obvious, like, how quickly Evans shot back, how scared she is, like
Yep.
how afraid they are now that
Yep.
they've got to trash me. Well, come at me, like, do whatever you want, but like that just shows that she's terrified of, her own thing. So like this is like a conspiracy thing.
All right. So, Kat Tenbarge of NBC News, she's a tech journalist. She's still tweeting about me a lot, or has been the last day or two. I saw yesterday she was at it. I should give her some money. I feel like I should give her some money for all of the free promotion that she's giving me. I'm getting way more promotion from her than the YouTube algorithm gives me. That's for sure. No, she says yesterday people should really pay attention. By the way, does this woman really think that Amber Heard is innocent? I mean, sorry. I mean, it's not really, like, I guess, relevant, except it sort of calls, like, her cognitive abilities into question. Um, Amber Heard is innocent? Like, I just, like, full stop there. I just can't comprehend that there are people who actually listen to that audio that we've all listened to of her berating Johnny Depp and calling him, a coward, and saying he runs away from her all the time and admitting to hitting him and all of that stuff. And there are people, there are people who actually work for NBC News and other supposedly, sophisticated journalistic outlets. There are people who actually, like, listen to all those audios, and it sounded to them like Amber Heard was the victim and Johnny Depp was the abuser. Like that, I don't know. I just can't really even get beyond that. But okay, so this woman who thinks that Amber Heard is innocent, this woman thinks that I have been having too much influence in the Marilyn Manson situation as it's unfolded. And she says here, people should really pay attention to how influencers covering celebrity legal cases are interfering with those cases directly. Look at how they are speaking to accusers directly to manipulate them into recanting. Look at how it's working. This is extrajudicial influence. Well, I mean, extrajudicial influence, you're just talking about anything that happens outside of the courts and the legal system. So aren't you, Kat, also a form of extrajudicial influence? Or are you saying nobody listens to you? I mean, I agree with you. The mainstream media, it's kind of going out the door. You seem kind of sore about that, too. I saw that on the same thread, one of these threads that you wrote about me. I saw that you were complaining about how much people like me that I'm pretending to be like you and do your job, except I could never do it. I'm just, like, stealing basically the title of a journalist. Well, I've actually never aspired to be a journalist. I aspire to look into and research and discuss with my audience what I think about things that interest me. And it just so happens that 2 years ago, because I was already starting to cover the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing on my new YouTube channel, my brand new YouTube channel, 3 weeks after I started my channel, the Marilyn Manson situation, the allegations and all of that broke. And I was, yes, one of the few to catch on to the fact very early on that this was a gigantic MeToo hoax and a scam. And I realized that it's complicated. And I realized that for people who have not looked into it, really, it seems like one big fucking mess, because it is one big fucking mess. But it is a fucking mess that is centered around a man being falsely accused and being crucified for the persona that he has constructed carefully, sometimes to his detriment over the past decades, and also deranged and or opportunistic women jumping on this and weaponizing Me Too and weaponizing the mainstream media, people like you, Kat, for their narratives. Are you not advocating for Amber Heard when time and time and time again you're posting things in her favor? And some of the insults that you and others have thrown at Johnny Depp over the course of this thing, Michelle Dauber. Come on. It's a YouTube channel. Of course I'm talking to Ashley Morgan Smithline. I'm talking to everyone. I'm talking to you too, Kat. And let me tell you something, Kat. I'm not scared, and I would be totally willing to do an interview with you. I'll come on your channel, you come on mine, or we find some kind of neutral party. It's like Star Trek, the neutral zone or whatever, and to moderate it or host it. Let's talk. Let's talk. I'm not scary. I'm not a meanie. No one's ever done an interview with me and felt like they got, beat up. And I'm not afraid of what you throw at me. So let's talk. Seriously. DM me, whatever. But Yeah, so this is what she objects to. Okay, so she posts this thing about how people really need to be afraid, pay attention to how influencers like me. It's so funny to me that I've got this tiny YouTube channel that's still not really off the ground, and like I'm just like still like struggling in lots of ways with it. And now, but suddenly I'm like this like influencer superpower, you know, and I'm just pulling all these strings, doing all this shit, you know. It's like if I am like a Ray Donovan type here and I'm just like manipulating all these people and I'm working behind the scenes to make all this shit happen and just bullying people into submitting and recanting and going on interviews and whatever. If I'm able to do all that, I should be really a lot further along in life than I am now. But anyway, okay, so Kat says, look at how I'm speaking to the accusers directly. And then she links to this quotation. Now, I could tell you the quotation or I could just show you the clip, okay? Because this clip is also going around and it's being liked and referenced and retweeted by Kat and some people who are on this train of thought. So this is what I said. This is what is like so dangerous and so objectionable and so horrible.
You know he didn't abuse you. You know he didn't commit any crimes. You know you lied about a lot of that stuff, right? So it's time to come clean. You will be welcomed with open arms by the Manson community, all right? If you want good publicity, why don't you join the right side? You'll be welcomed as a hero if you flip, okay? But if you don't flip, if you let this opportunity pass by and this turns out to be just a dispute about who your lawyer is, that's not going to be enough to change the narrative about you. So let's do the right thing. You say that you're interested in doing the right thing. Well, let's do the right thing. Let's finally tell the truth about Marilyn Manson.
The fact that the woman that I'm speaking to in this video, and by the way, have you ever heard, Kat, of rhetorical speaking? That is not, you're not actually directly speaking to someone, but you're speaking more to make a point or perhaps to entertain people, or in this case, to get the word out on Marilyn Manson's innocence and the fact that at the time, this woman, Ashley Morgan Smithline, had trashed him, lied about him, and destroyed him, and all of it unfairly. You just think that there's no reason that I should be able to put the word out that she did a bad thing and that she could still do the right thing, and why it would be good in her interest and moral for her to do the right thing. That's just, oh wow, that's just horrible. We can't have that. Never mind the fact, though, that you have Evan Rachel Wood every few months trying to get all of her 1 million Instagram followers to harass and harangue and bully, if you want to use that term, the DA and the LASD into going after Marilyn Manson. Well, guess what? The LASD, they've already fully investigated Manson. They closed their case. They sent the file to the DA, and the DA, you can look at my videos, I've talked about this, the DA is sitting on it because he's got a very woke image and a woke constituency, and he is scared to come out and say the truth, which is, look, my police officers, my investigators, my detectives, they looked through this man's life. They interviewed all these people around him. They looked at the evidence or lack thereof, and they went through all of his devices that were seized. They know everything about his online life and what he's really like. And they found nothing. But you know what they did find? They found that this is a hoax being perpetrated by Evan Rachel Wood and a number of other people that she roped into doing this. Well, he can't come out and say that, so the DA is sitting on it. Mum's the word. But you know, Evan Rachel Wood constantly trying to get people to harangue him and harass him into doing stuff. Everybody's trying to influence everyone. Hence the term influencer. And because I passionately believe in this case, and I think that this is a man who is innocent and he is the victim of a MeToo hit job that is really more extensive than anything I've ever seen in the entertainment industry before. Really almost unprecedented. But yeah, I'm passionate about advocating for him. And I also just happen to think, and this might be a shocking idea for some of you, but I also just happen to think that Ashley Morgan Smithline coming forward, recanting her lies that she claims that she was manipulated and pressured into and deceived into by Evan Rachel Wood and Esme Bianco. I happen to believe that Ashley Morgan Smithline coming forward and recanting those lies and telling the truth and doing it joyfully like she did the other day on that interview, I happen to think that's good for her. So yeah, I was telling her in this message, do the right thing, do the honest thing, and your life's going to get better as happens generally when you do the right thing. Now, not always, you know. But she did the right thing, and she's been very adamant and confident about it. Even now that she's having these people who supposedly supported her now attacking her. But look, you can look at the difference between the two interviews that she did, or the interviews that Ashley Morgan Smithline did when she was telling these lies about Manson, and then the interview that she did now as she's come forward and is telling the truth about him and about this hoax. It's like night and day. You can tell when she's uncomfortable. You can tell when she doesn't want to speak. You can tell when she's kind of being handled by her attorney who's sitting there versus now.
I was dehumanized. I was degraded. I was treated like an animal that yeah.
The truth, and I just want to say, I said this in the chat earlier, but the way that you are right now, the strength that you're showing and the confidence in the way that you're communicating, it is night and day different from the way that you were
Right,
in
The View.
those bullshit interviews that crook Jay Elwinger and that psycho Evan Rachel Wood pushed you into.
Well, because I'm not reading a script and I'm not playing a part of Evan part 2. Like, this is who I actually am. I've been saying since last year, and then like especially like over summer, I was like, this is all a hoax. This is all a conspiracy. Like, please, like, and I just wanted to handle it the right way. He's in no way a monster, a narcissist, a sociopath. He's a very sensitive soul, and I don't want to like hurt his career by saying that, but like you should hear some of the music he listens to. It's like beautiful, soft, like lovely music, you know, like he's a very sensitive person. But I hope that like coming forward and saying something like it's pretty obvious like how quickly Evan's shot back, how scared she is, like
Yep.
how afraid they are now that they've
Yep.
got a trash me, will come at me. Like, everything about me is already public, you know, the worst has already been done and said. So like, come at me, be horrible, do whatever you want, but like that just shows that she's terrified of, you know, her own thing. So like, I think, potentially, like I said, this isn't just anymore like accusing someone of like a he said, she said thing. This is like a conspiracy thing. So I firmly believe if it was me and you're a truth teller, and that's like what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm trying to tell the truth, like, and like, unfortunately, now because you and I tell the truth, now we're like apologists and we hate women. Come on, like.
And I think it's also important, you know, one of the things that Kat and some of these others they keep sort of avoiding is the fact that Ashley Morgan Smithline fired her attorney and was telling people that she wanted to do the right thing. She was trying to get in touch with Marilyn Manson's attorney, Howard King, to the point where he was having to say to her, Ashley, I can't talk to you. It's not right until you have legally fired your attorney, and we've done the legal process there. So she was, as I've said before, long before I made this video that they're so in a huff about, that Kat Tenbarge is so in a huff about, and very, very, very much long before later conversations about Ashley Morgan Smithline that I had with others. Long before that, Ashley Morgan Smithline fired her attorney, was trying desperately to get in touch with and to talk to Marilyn Manson's attorney so that she could help them. And then she was telling people in private DMs that we now, you know, have access to, we've had access to for a while, that she wanted to do the right thing. You know? I mean, look at this. The Manson cases online, great site on Instagram, Twitter. They've got a great website. They're cataloging all this. September 2022, she says, I'm trying to do the right thing. This is Ashley. I called Howard King immediately to say that Jay's lying. Radar won't run the Jay evidence because they hate Manson's lot. Now, Jay is her former attorney, right? She's, you know, that she says also manipulated her into this. So, you know, a lot of people just have not been following this case. Kat Tenbarge has really displayed the fact in some of her tweets that she's not been following this case. But, you know, I just have to say, I really get the sense in some of these comments, there's a kind of an outrage in some of these comments by Kat Tenbarge, for instance, that I find kind of perplexing. If you scroll down this post about me, she says, someone says, influencers think that they're journalists and then break the basic ethics that would get them fired from a newsroom. Oh, okay, yes. So my pleading with this woman, Ashley Smithline, whom I knew was lying about Manson and participating in this hoax, my pleading with her to do the right thing. Oh, that's just terrible, right? And Kat Tenbarge says they know exactly what they're doing. They steal our work, pass it off as their own, monetize it, and distort facts to profit as much as possible from their audience. Excuse me, Kat Tenbarge. I haven't stolen your work. No offense, I guess, but I don't see anything and have not seen anything worthy of stealing. Maybe if you would write something about any of these cases that actually exposes the truth of what's really going on here, okay, then I'd have something to steal. But I've not stolen anything. What have I stolen? They steal our work. They pass it off as their own. Oh, really? Yeah, because I've just been passing off so much of Kat Tenbarge's incisive reporting as my own. Geez, just go through my YouTube videos and see how many of those were directly inspired by the quick wit and journalistic genius of Kat Tenbarge and others like her. They steal our work, pass it off as their own, monetize it. I'm monetizing your work. Well, I will admit on this one, Kat Tenbarge, I'm hoping that when people see the way that you have been attacking me, and the way that I'm trying to stand up to you and to this BS narrative and for the truth, yeah, it'd be nice if I'd get a tip for that. I won't deny that, okay? But am I monetizing your work, Kat Tenbarge? Come on. What work to monetize? And then she says we distort facts to profit as much as possible from their audiences. Well, I don't know what show you're watching, but if your incisive journalistic mind and your journalistic ethics brought you to the conclusion that Amber Heard was the innocent victim of a crazed, abusive Johnny Depp in that relationship, then I just don't really know what to say. I'm kind of dumbfounded. And I assure you, Kat, I have not, nor will I, ever be stealing any of your work. But if you want to keep talking about me and you want to keep promoting my work, what about this? Are you stealing my work? Because you're taking my videos and you're taking quotes from my stuff. You seem to be actually spending a lot of time these days taking my work and putting it up on your Twitter page. So who is stealing from whom? Fortunately, I don't really care about such things. I just wish, Kat, and I guess this is where I would like to close, I just wish that you would take this same zeal and energy that you and the others are exerting towards presenting this narrative, trying to get this narrative to catch on, that I just masterminded and engineered and manipulated everyone into things working out for Manson. I would like for you to take some of that energy and put it toward actually trying to examine the major issues in Evan Rachel Wood's story and the story of the other accusers. I'd like for you or someone, for God's sake, to get to the bottom of that fucking faked FBI letter that Evan Rachel Wood and her co-conspirator, girlfriend at the time, Ilma Gore, put together to try to one-up her baby daddy, Jamie Bell, in custody court and basically steal his kid under his nose and take him to Tennessee. I'd like some clarification on that. I'd also like to know to what extent that FBI letter was used to recruit other women to join this conspiracy against Manson, or I would like to know at least what kinds of lies did Evan Rachel Wood tell in order to get some of these women on board? Because Ashley Smithline has said in her declaration that she was lied to about multiple things, and that in fact one of the only reasons why she got on board with this hoax originally was because Evan Rachel Wood and Esme Bianco presented to her this idea that they had been so hideously abused by Manson, and therefore if Ashley did not remember being abused, she must have repressed the memory. I'd like someone to get to the bottom of all that shit. I would. I'd like someone to get to the bottom of what happened on the set of Heart-Shaped Glasses, because as you may or may not know, I just interviewed last night a woman, a dancer and a model who was and a friend of Marilyn Manson and Evan Rachel Wood's at the time, who was on the set of Heart-Shaped Glasses. And she completely discredits everything about Evan Rachel Wood's story. Evan Rachel Wood claims that she was assaulted on set and she was given drugs and alcohol and drugged out of her mind and she was upset and all of this. And apparently all of that's not true. I'd like you to get to the bottom of that. That would be great. That would be great. I'd like for you, Kat, to use your journalistic intensity and ethics to get to the bottom of why neither Dita Von Teese, Marilyn Manson's ex-wife of several years, or Rose McGowan, Miss Me Too, the first and most important Harvey Weinstein accuser, I would like you to get to the bottom of how both of those women, why both of those women who spent years with Manson and seem to be strong advocates for women, why both of those women have publicly said that they were not abused at all and that they were bullied in various ways by Evan Rachel Wood's supporters who were trying to get them to turn on Manson and to say that he was a bad man and he had abused them. That's where a lot of bullying really occurred. If you're worried about bullying, do you care about the fact that Rose McGowan has gone on record saying that she was bullied by Evan Rachel Wood supporters? You know, do a post on that. Okay, you're going to do a post on me. Great. Can we balance it out? I promise you, Kat, there is stuff on the other side to be looking at. There's a lot of shit here that doesn't make sense. That's a big problem. Not to mention all of the inconsistencies in Evan Rachel Wood over the decades now, you know, doing all these interviews for years saying that, you know, Manson was great and he gave her all this freedom and it was emancipating and he wasn't abusive at all and anyone who says so is a liar, blah, 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 blah. She said all these things in interviews again and again and again and again and again. But then suddenly she goes through this transformation and suddenly she's Miss Gender Activist and she's dating another female gender activist and she's, you know, getting awards from, you know, gender organizations for bisexuality and all of this, and she's testifying before Congress about domestic violence, and she's testifying before the California Assembly, and she's getting a Law the Phoenix Act passed, and she's getting a 2-part documentary on HBO for all of this bullshit hoax, and you don't think there's anything fishy about any of that shit? I never claimed to be just a journalist. Never claimed to be one at all. I did say at times that I feel like I'm doing the job that the mainstream media won't do, and I stand by that. But we take my ethics and we put them up against your ethics, Kat, and what you did or tried to do to Johnny Depp and are still trying to do, and propping up that deranged, lunatic, manipulative liar, borderline personality disordered Amber Heard. Yeah. Let's look at our ethics and let's see who's on the side of justice more often than not. You or me. Everybody, I appreciate you standing by me. I expect I'll just be getting more attacks, you know, the bigger this story gets, and that's fine. But as always, I depend on and appreciate your support, and every little bit helps and it means something to me. So my links are below. As I've said before, PayPal takes less of your money than YouTube. So I love you guys. Like, subscribe, whatever you can do, even just sharing this video, getting the word out. Marilyn Manson is innocent, and I'm going to keep saying it, and I will not be bullied into stopping. Because I'm going to keep telling people what the truth is, and I'm going to keep advocating it. All right? Bye-bye.